The Morgan Report with David Morgan.
David Morgan of themorganreport.com for the week ending 16 December 2022 with another weekly perspective. Well, starting off on the landing page as usual, and I just want to point what I have many times. You could go broke at 24 hours. Oh, come on, David, you're being exaggerating. You're selling fear porn. No, I'm not. It happened in Cyprus and other jurisdictions. In fact, we outlined several places in the Silver Manifesto. And thank you. Shout out to USA Watchdog Greg Hunter. Greg, thank you. With the promotion that you did for me on USA Watchdog, I actually sold out of the Silver Manifesto. I highly doubt I'll publish it again. Self-published, bought 1,000 copies, and it took like 3 or 4 years to sell them all off. And it is a classic book. It has nothing to do with timing, although it shows you some techniques in the book, but primarily it's a classic evergreen book, meaning it's kind of the Bible on silver and should remain so for quite some time. I tried to make it as good as I possibly could. And the forerunners of that was my friend Franklin Sanders, who wrote Silver Bonanza with James Blanchard of New Orleans Gold Show fame. He's been deceased for years and years. Silver Bonanza is another very in-depth look at the silver market. So anyway, enough of that. What I want to point out about the bank bail-ins is, again, if you're on the landing page here and you click this big gold bar here, you're going to scroll down and get to this interview I've talked about, banks to seize your money in the coming financial crisis. The reason I bring that to your attention is because none other than Zero Hedge itself is now basically saying the same thing. Many in my genre are also telling you that the new system, as we reset the potential to see your bank deposit depleted to some level, remains a distinct possibility. I won't read the whole thing, but this is from Zero Hedge. You must understand the relationships in which you have with your bank in order to protect your assets. What is a bail-in? How can a bail-in affect your rights as a depositor? Well, a depositor is an unsecured creditor. It means that the money you deposit in your bank is their money. So what is a bail-in? How does it affect the depositor? Well, I just told you, they say it here in so many words. They want you to get on their free email list with your name, and they even want a phone number. And that's fine. You get your free guide. You can get all the information in the interview I gave you. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to Zero Hedge and get it this way. It's up to you. First up from the Daily Sun headline, World Witnesses Gold Reserves at 50-year high. And of course, that is quite an admission of what's going on in the gold market. And of course, it's interesting for the reasons why. It's because the sale of ornaments has increased at the retail level. In addition to this, the demand for gold bars and coins has also increased due to continued purchases by the world central banks. Well, the central banks know that gold is the money of last resort, and when the proverbial stuff hits the fan or the collapse gets out of control or something goes wrong, they can rely back on gold and basically reboot, or let me say, reset the system. Not saying that's what's going to take place, but believe me, they're buying gold for a reason, and it's pretty obvious why if you understand the monetary system. This one tickled me from Kitco, titled Deutsche Bank wants back in the gold market after an 8-year absence. I mean, just horrible bank in so many ways. German financial institution Deutsche Bank wants a seat at the gold table again as it applies to rejoin the London Bullion Market Association, according to reports on Friday. And blah, 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 blah. You can read the whole thing. Basically, if they bought enough gold and gold got revalued, it might be able to keep them from failing. That's my take. This is from, I believe it's a Substack. My friend Peter Kraft writes a silver stock letter, and we speak from time to time. Really like the guy. His is a Silver Institute interim silver market report, December of this year, obviously, and he summarizes it here pretty well. Global silver demand is expected to reach 1.2 billion ounces. We've talked about that in past weekly perspectives. An increase of 16%. Mine supply is only expected to be up 1%, while recycling is expected to be up 5%, with overall supply up just 2%. I don't know why those don't match, but anyway. This year will mark a second consecutive annual deficit, reaching 124 million ounces. That's a multi-decade high and 4 times over the 2021's 48 million ounce shortfall. Shows you the global silver demand. It's been pretty flat. I mean, you can see it here, 2020 with the illness, it dropped as you would expect, rebounded in 2021, and it's really at a high now at 2022, as he just said. Talks about physical investment, and I highly recommend that you pay attention to Peter. He's balanced and focused and does a great job. I'm not going to read this whole article to you, but if you look at Peter Kraus' Substack, you'll be able to find it. And then, of course, he has a full newsletter that you can subscribe. My friend Michael Fox runs the Prospector. It's called theprospectornews.com. And on there is a video of Mike Dorenzo, who is the director of the Silver Institute. Known Mike for years. He came to the Silver Symposium and spoke for the audience earlier this year. I would say if you're Silver Bull, you definitely want to listen to this interview. Again, it's at Mike Fox's site, which is theprospectornews.com. Our last article for this week's perspective: silver prices can thrive in crypto winter. Winter has arrived. It's a crypto winter. What is it? Well, it's a period of declining or sustained lower cryptocurrency prices. There's a big negative sentiment. Numerous crypto companies are defaulting. Thus, it's a bear market, known from other markets, but with a far fancier name. Indeed, you can see in the chart below, the price of Bitcoin, the most famous cryptocurrency, plunged about 75% from its peak of $67,510 in early November 2021, and is about $17,000 right now. I believe you understand now why crypto winter is a much more accurate term than just a bear market. Talks about FTX collapse, but he talks about the implications for silver. What does a crypto winter imply for silver prices? Well, the problem of the cryptocurrency market could prompt some investors to shift their funds from cryptos into more stable precious metals, silver especially, to benefit, as it's believed to be a riskier bet than gold, but sometimes it's called gold on steroids. Hence, crypto investors who typically have high risk tolerance could flow more naturally into the silver market. I definitely concur with that paragraph. Another important implication is that should be obvious now that cryptocurrencies are not substitutes for precious metals as safe havens. Although silver didn't have the best year, as the chart below shows, it only lost 7% in the same period in which Bitcoin lost about 3/4 of its value. It shows that cryptos are still the Wild West, especially compared to the precious metals, which enjoy centuries-long history and much smaller volatility. And if you buy physical bullion, you are not even susceptible to bank or quasi-bank runs, or, let me add, bail-ins. And I'll make this 30 seconds or less. We are doing a special from Black Friday to the end of the year. Big discount on the premium service, and you get a 15-minute consult with yours truly. Discount code is shown here, Wealth 2022. If you don't know where to go, just go to silver123.net or get on our free email list. We've got 14 days left. And it's a pretty hefty discount. We've never done this in the past. It's something for new subscribers if you're interested in the paid subscription. And that's it. I'll be back with you next week with another weekly perspective.